This week on Hermitcraft.
Bum ba-dum bum, bum ba-dum bum bum boop.
This footage took 3 seasons of waiting, people. Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is PixelRiffs, our writer is LoyXP, and we truly are hitting the bizarro point of Season 6. We've seen builders doing redstone, Mumbos loving ice, Iskall building a diorite house, and members no one ever expected to come back suddenly falling out of the sky. Which is especially alarming since, at week 60 now, we are nearing the point when the previous season had already ended. Do you think the oversaturation of awesomeness will break the server entirely, or is this destined to be Season 6-finity? You can express your opinion in the poll in the iCards. And while you're clicking stuff, there's the like and subscribe buttons, you know, the usual. But with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
Yeah, sort of. Maybe. Yeah, sure.
Starting with something we can pretty much say we called it, as Cubfan135 infiltrates Area 77, using the anomalous pineapples he built last week. The whole reason he was let anywhere near the main hangar was under the pretense of committing one of the cursed fruits that shouldn't exist to the care of the Foundation. His trick, however, was to bypass the security surge using a mule and sneak in just enough resources to hide away under the floorboards and map out all the secrets he needed once soon-to-be demoted General Angry Eyebrows was out of the room.
Your time is up.
And yeah, I've finished the pineapple, man. Check it out.
Alright, seriously, what in... Oh my gosh, you did. You actually made a pineapple.
Yeah, it's very like a glitch block. I thought you guys would be quite interested in it, so yeah.
Oh, that is very glitched and very, mysterious. Wow, thank you for bringing this to our attention.
And just when he got his own headquarters with a TIE fighter on top.
And I was really leaning towards the biplane, and then it hit me. Star Wars.
Ah, the Quidditch building, of course.
For future investigations, Cub sets up a camp nearby with an underground tunnel leading from it to the town of Falsewell, where he acquires a motel room with the specific purpose of laying low. Unfortunately, the info he provides False in exchange for the room service is up there with the Mumbo Jumbo School of Espionage.
Also, no toilets anywhere whatsoever. You gotta go number 1, you gotta go number 2, you gotta leave Area 77. Also, very mysterious villager sounds near the front of the hangar. It seemed like they turned villagers into dirt. Maybe there was a villager underground. I don't know, but it's worth investigating.
His second attempt brings in much more stylish results. He successfully steals a Men in Black suit, complete with shades to throw at his enemy. The aforementioned Men in Black very much came back to bite him, though unable to fight Cub, they decided to bite FalseSymmetry instead. Her last week's Midsummer Night's Dream about Rendog being abducted by her own cafeteria apparently is reason enough for Area 77 officials to come knocking on her door. The crop circle she built in the area to attract tourists didn't exactly help her case either.
Wait.
You don't remember anything.
You're very, very tired. You had a long day.
Not that it was the only reason, the town of Falsewell is getting weirder and weirder lately. For one, you've got the merch shop focusing solely on space-themed t-shirts, and for two, you have a museum run by not one, but 2 zombies.
So, are you here for the museum job? I'm sort of waiting on someone right now. Is that you?
Yes, that's me. That's totally me.
Having originally Animal Crossing'd herself into the job she never applied for, Zombie Cleo was quite surprised to discover a justly upset Carol the zombie at the doorstep. To remedy their relationship, Cleo appoints Carol as the ticket master of the place and starts cranking up armor stand-powered wonders of phony space stuffs.
You see what I did there? Alien in a jar, speeder bike. This contains the most dangerous alien species discovered. If case appears empty, please through museum quickly.
Well, at least we know why Tango hasn't uploaded in a while. Her art of posing invisible stick people comes in handy once more when Grian requests a diorama of himself and Rendog having a friendly round of chess in the hippie tunneling project. What he hadn't accounted for is that every single cell on that checkerboard had to be made with a separate armor stand holding a carpet. In other words, this took a whole lot of work to line up.
So, 36 armor stands on the chessboard. Another, I believe, 8 on the on the chess pieces, and then 2 for Rendog and Grian, being Rendog and Grian. I think I've peaked. This is the best one I've ever done.
Thankfully, Cleo was soon rewarded with an extra payout for her efforts. The actual mind games the hippie duo are playing is them continuously hyping up the van to end all vans with a 7-segment display they outsourced to Impulse, which now hovers there ominously counting down to something.
I did get a little bit of help here from a friend of mine named Casildis over on the Mazuma Games channel.
Whoa.
Okay.
3 days?
3 days.
Whoa.
It's going that soon, huh?
This thing
Okay.
is launching in 3 days.
All the while, the real work is being done in the underground. The network of secret tunnels has reached Area 77 and sprouted into several routes leading to landmarks shown on the maps Cubfan sold them. Docm 77 reacts to the sinister arrival of the countdown clock by aiming below the belt. Setting up a super-fast note block clock underneath the hippies' camp, he uses a villager to randomly trigger a really low bass note, with the intention of imitating the brown note, a frequency which supposedly makes the listener lose control of their bowels. As he puts it, people keep messaging him about the hippies' toilet, so he'll make sure they're always using it.
Oh, man, I need to go to the toilet again.
His machinations may fall on deaf ears. The noise palette of the area is already dominated by Grian's rabid redstone. The constant piston firing is the zero-tick farms he built based on Ilmango's tutorials, doing their zero-ticking.
I would have never come up with this machine of lag and... Well, actually, it's not laggy at all, it's just loud. Oh, ow.
The full scale of what he's trying to accomplish is actually pretty grand and clever, trying to stack and arrange all possible farms so they constantly feed into one another. That's how he gets a flour farm from the bone meal mixers and the furnace-based XP generator out of cactus and bamboo farms. Across the border, Doc focuses on a more destructive use of redstone, setting up a TNT duper to make Scar's stealth bomber that extra bit more realistic. And he proves he can be stealthy himself when he spots Mumbo AFKing with a zombie and renames it Trespassing in Area 77, then pranks Impulse SV's hippie camper van with the hot potato. His other redstone projects draw a bit more attention to themselves as he sets up a village bell and some arrow dispensers to sound the alarm at the Area 77 border checkpoint.
Yep, that's gonna be hard to miss.
He even recruits some foxes to act as guard dogs, although we're not sure if they'll be guarding anything except a stash of sweet berries.
Come on, Franz. I bred these 2 foxes from these wild, ferocious predators, and they trust me now. How would you like a sharpness 5 fire aspect sword?
The unsuspecting Impulse has prepared himself for the shame of being hot potatoed by having a go at Azuma's Totem of Undying game, in which the player grabs a Totem of Undying, makes sure they have full health, and steps into a series of rooms where the challenge is to die and be revived by the totem as quickly as possible. And somehow, in a game called Undying, Impulse manages to actually die thrice.
Alright, that worked. Oh, I probably don't want to die again for real. Oh, I probably should have worked my way through. I'm gonna die twice in here.
Overall, 9 people joined in to test their ability to do the opposite of living. For our convenience, Azuma has tallied up their scores into a chart of some sort and decided the 3 winners of the race will be displayed on a nifty pedestal. If this seems a little final to you, it's because the Undying minigame we know is no more, so no one will be able to beat those scores anyway. Having analysed the experiences of his server mates in the labyrinth of continuous peril, X decided to adjust, replace, and downright remove several challenges. The new and improved version was tested on Python, which is awfully bold of him considering the skyscraper goof Azuma pulled on him just before.
It is no joke, your eyes do not deceive you. The question is, will Python like this or not?
According to their build swap agreement, he built a tower out of quartz to fit the rest. The trick, however, was that the quartz in question was not the block variety, but the very red quartz ore blocks. At least it matches Python's skin, I suppose.
What? Oh my gosh. Oh, heck yeah. Does that mean I need to get myself a full shulker box of quartz ore? I don't want to dig any more quartz ore,
That's
man.
my plan all along. I knew you had to mirror it on the other side.
Luckily, X swaps the materials for proper ones after he's done scaring his neighbour with the prospect of having to mirror this thing on the other side. This wasn't even the worst of Python's misfortunes. Over at Hermitville, he became one of the many people to be duped repeatedly by Iskal's run game, which included a stretch where he put in a whole block's worth of diamonds and the game only let him in, like, twice. In fact, the whole Sahara team seemed to be having a joke at Python's expense after he spent yet more diamonds on a SaharaNOW membership from Grian's mysterious blimp, only to return to the shopping district and find that SaharaNOW didn't really have anything he wanted to buy.
They are! They're the only two! My plan has been foiled by their lack of stock!
After returning to Run and losing even more diamonds, it's no surprise the next game he plays gives him an excuse to jump off a ladder over and over again. At least the next episode, his 50th of Season 6, allowed him to take a nostalgic trip around the server as he toured the world for people who wanted to catch up. But speaking of people whose lives are actively being ruined by Run, Keralis spends like half a video trying to get the best loots the game has to offer. Admittedly, that's a bit of an overstatement, as even after playing it for a while, Keralis still has enough diamonds and random bits left over to afford both a SaharaNOW membership and 2 Did You Die boxes, rebranded to Did You Join because Grian is just that good at direct marketing.
Yes, I know, it's kind of weird, but I've been dreaming about flying. This is a complete game changer.
The second one, Keralis donates to BdoubleO because watching him use iron appliances was freaking everyone out by this point. But not as much as the airport noises from Area 77, which is why we see Keralis leave his house up on the hill and build up some zero-tick farms under a sugarcane shack at the new Hermitville.
But it's a small cottage just for our sugarcane and bamboo, and I kind of like it. And those dang airplanes.
To even out his allegiances, Keralis also takes Cub up on his offer to experience Concorp as toured by the founding members.
All of these guys, these are the workers of Concorp.
All the sweatshops. The sweatshops of Concorp.
I mean, we have pretty good conditions here, right?
Luckily, by that point, all the trading posts and super expensive looking yachts are built and polished, and even the river they're on finally has an exit to the ocean. The full impact of the last couple of weeks is easy to spot if you watch Cub update the maps overlooking the area. The impact of Keralis visiting in the meantime is 1 diamond block missing from the high security vault. That's not a big deal. Cub will make it up easily if his own take on the XP vault takes off. It's a much more compact system compared to Azuma's one. The XP Me shop just splashes you with bottles of enchanting until your elytra is fixed, which is one thing we haven't really seen on the server in 60 weeks, someone using bottles of enchanting in any meaningful capacity.
And then basically when you throw them on the ground, you get experience. So there you go. Such that you basically put a diamond into a chest, it sucks the diamond out, and then it gets you a set amount of bottles of enchanting.
The Did You Join box is just one of many gifts BdoubleO receives as a welcome back to the neighborhood. First, he gets a visit from Ren, who throws a beacon at him and begs him to stop using iron tools when he could be hoovering up resources with efficiency 5.
My friend. Yes.
Oh!
Look at that.
Oh, look at this. A beautiful,
Yes.
look at this.
It's-
A wonderful
it's-
chandelier.
What? Wait.
That is such a fine gift.
Stress Monster offers him a nice distraction in the form of a jousting tournament, which ends in a draw when both horses lose, after which they split the prize money and BdoubleO rides away into the sunset. Despite setting a trap for both BdoubleO and Keralis, Iskall is feeling generous and drops by with a challenge for one of these master builders, persuading BdoubleO to build a village house with only the resources Iskall provided in a shulker box full of eclectic and unusual blocks.
And this is little puffy, poofy slime clouds. Poof, 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 up and out. I love that. I think that's so cool. So that's it. It's done.
Oh, and since BdoubleO has 100 diamonds lying around and Iskall promises him 50 for building the challenging house, how about a SaharaNOW membership?
If you've heard about the wonderful SaharaNOW.
I've heard tell. I've heard rumor. All good for the most part.
Stress Monster is less convinced by these newfangled marketing strategies.
Sorry, Mumbo, I already bought one off of Iskall, but a very creative way of doing it, I have to say.
She's more concerned with the amount of time she's spending AFK, either at the Drowned Farm or the Ink Farm, and how that leaves her open to being hot potatoed. So she spends some time planning some countermeasures, first making sure the nether portal to her AFK areas is secured with a key-carded iron door and guarded by a polar bear for dramatic effect, then setting up a hopper minecart and dispenser system which spits the steamed yams right back at he who dealt it. With the ink successfully farmed and dropped off at Sahara, Stress realizes she's running short on resources and heads back to her amethyst mine, only to find the hillside strewn with some allium-infested cows. Malliums? Allimus? Whatever they are, the alien geode seems to be to blame, and the two clerics/scientists at her lab have no answers yet. Maybe that's what happens to the cows abducted by FalseSymmetry's diner.
Where did the mushrooms come from? The mushroom alien men things? Where did they come from? Okay, well that's rude. I was actually just talking to you then.
Joe Hills is in the market for ink too, although he's happy enough getting it out of the river near his roller coaster. With some more terracotta freshly dyed, he spends a bit of time looking for diamonds so he can investigate some of the recent additions to the area, which happens to include the SaharaNOW blimp.
See, we have 6 of these, and each one of these has 1, 2, 3, 4...
Sadly, 6 diamond ore doesn't add up to 100 diamonds any way you slice them, so he returns to ground level where he briefly gets excited about the town of Falsewell's road infrastructure.
Goodness, somebody worked hard. I bet False worked really hard on that, you guys.
And drops off some dirt for Scar's Area 77 terraforming projects. Instead of asking for a more traditional form of payment, Joe sets the price at being compassionate, which should be easy for a covert government organization with stealth bombers. Rendog has some debts to settle after accidentally breaching his contract and leaving the Sahara off Sahara Speedy Pines Raceway last week. So he makes amends by advertising the heck out of them this week, adding the Sahara logo to the track in 3 places and even adding the Pines back in to make sure the name was 100% on point. As a further show of good faith to his corporate overlords and fellow hippie, he visits the SaharaNOW blimp and buys a membership, swinging by the shopping district to check out the deals. But back at the hippie commune, the dirt is hitting the fan, and by the fan, we mean the shovels of Ren and Grian as they continue to dig their network of tunnels under Area 77. In another network of tunnels thousands of blocks away, TFC spends a mammoth smelting session crafting dried kelp into kelp blocks. After producing a supply of furnace fuel that could last him into the distant future, the irony is he doesn't even end up using it. In fact, he takes measures to take all the kelp blocks out of his stone and ore auto smelter and switches everything over to being fueled by his bamboo farm. A few ice streams and dropper clocks later, he's bamboo powered and ready to backlog another storage buffer with green stuff.
The use of smelting will be powered entirely by the bamboo.
And finally, our contribution to the SaharaNOW advertising contest, a segment about the SaharaNOW advertising contest. Mumbo settles on 2 very text-based ways of marketing the new feature: enormous letters in the sky and tiny letters in the chat. The former is a piston feed tape wrapping around a cube in the sky above iTrade, proudly displaying the words SaharaNOW to anyone who actually visits the shopping district and decides to look up. It starts off a little slow, but eventually he triples the speed, and while you're still only reading 2 letters at a time, the redstone mojo alone might be enough to keep people's attention for the full message. They'll find the other message in the chat, as he opts for the Death Cells marketing strategy, renames a zombie, sets a spawn point, and AFK respawns himself overnight. Unfortunately, these eye-catching strategies caught the eyes of the wrong people, and Mumbo hasn't sold any memberships at the time we're writing this script. Instead, Docm decided to turn Mumbo's advertisement into a warning for trespassers, and also the zombie stole Mumbo's armor.
No. Oh no!
His campaign is sabotaged further when Grian also renames the zombie into something more beneficial to his own cause. What neither of them took into consideration, it seems, is that if you spam chats to the point of annoyance, people are much more likely to just turn off the chat.
I don't know how he's managed to do that, but it's annoying, so I'm gonna turn off chat.
You know what you can't opt out of? Iskall coming to your house with the stuff to build another house. So far it looks like the direct approach is working for Iskall, and he and Grian are both leading the way in membership sales. But Iskall is still working to improve Sahara in other ways, prompted by a request to automate Grian's manual carrot farm. Originally used to farm the raw vegetables to make gold carrots, Iskall's solution is to transform it into a villager trading hall, the better to trade golden carrots from master level farmers. And while they're there, buy a boatload of quartz from some stonemasons wearing masks.
Grian Iskall Mumbo, Grian Iskall Mumbo, Grian Iskall Mumbo, Grian Iskall Mumbo. Scheme going on.
He's not even done there, as he also sets up the beginnings of a mass-produced concrete factory by arranging droppers to give him a stack of dye, then 4 stacks of sand and gravel at the press of a button. There are more controversial building materials on his mind though, and he contributes a diorite house to BDubs and Corrales' new Hermit build project as a test. The only furniture in the house is a set of signs asking if they like the house, yes or no. By clicking yes, they get dropped down a hole for their crimes against good taste, a fate which BDubs manages to avoid, but hey, lesson learned.
Yes, what does that sound? Hey! Oh! What was that? No, thank you!
And while he's over at Hermitville, Iskall stays rich, collecting the diamonds Corrales and Python have pumped into the run minigame, and tries out Rendog's Raceway, where he almost finds out what happens when an unstoppable horse meets an unbreakable object.
There's a horse on the racetrack! There was a horse on the racetrack. I had to dodge. Bonus points, please.
And that's just about it for this week's recap. Our writer is ZloyXP, and my name is PixelRiffs. Zloy has been reviewing maps on his channel lately. Here's a bunch of them in the end screen theatre. One of them is about blowing stuff up, the other one has pirate parrots and thick pigs. Choose your fighter. Don't forget to leave a like on this video while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.